Hello, Answerly viewers! So I went into The Coldest Girl in Coldtown knowing absolutely zero about what it's about, which is not something that I do very often, and wow! Did not expect any of this. So, I saw Holly Black speak one time at Geek Girl Con, and I know that she does genre pieces, but I did not know that this was a vampire book. I didn't know that. I don't know how I didn't know that. Probably could have read that in a review on Amazon where I bought it, but I just thought that the book looked cool, so I ordered it without doing any research, which is not usually the way that I approach books, but it's been kind of fun because I don't know if I would have read this book if I'd known it was a vampire book, because I'm not particularly into genre books just sort of in general. I mean, I like the good ones that I've read, but it's just not a type of book that I usually seek out. But I am enjoying this a lot. I haven't really read enough to have formulated like a very strong opinion on it, but so far I'm having a lot of fun. The beginning is awesome. I read the whole first couple chapters with my mouth just like waking up in a bathtub, being hungover, not knowing where your friends are, and then finding them all brutally murdered across the living room was a super intense way to start a book. I really loved the suspense of the entire time that Tana, we'll go with Tana. The entire time that she was in the house and didn't know if there were other vampires still there, and she's tiptoeing around, and you know, the sort of easy, lethargic feeling that she had, and then how it just switches and suddenly she's terrified. When she walks in the room and finds Aiden tied to the bed with Gabrielle in the corner, that was just such a like high stakes, intense scene. And I love the suspense of everything I've read so far. So where we leave off, they've just gotten to sort of right outside Coldtown, and they've met Midnight and Winter, and everything's sort of up in the air about what the plan's gonna be and who's going where. I have no idea where this book is going. I mean, I'm assuming she goes into the Coldtown. I'm pretty sure that's what I read on like the book jacket or whatever. So that'll be interesting. We also don't know yet if she's actually been infected, so I'm sure that'll be coming up in the coming chapters. I guess for this first video I'll just talk about some of the things that I liked, and you guys can let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite parts were of the first few chapters. I've read a couple of different vampire books, and I've seen a couple different like vampire, you know, every vampire story has a slightly different take on the monster. I like the ability to be cured in this one. I like how that works, that if you can last and let it flush through your system, even though it takes like up to 88 days and seems like it's really, really tough. We haven't even heard any success stories yet in this book, if like anyone has done it. I'm sure people have, but it seems like Tana doesn't know anyone who's managed to get through, you know, that period and not actually be turned. There's sort of this tone I'm feeling where there's people who want to become vampires. There's people who think it's sexy and awesome, and it's actually kind of tough because, you know, blood is a finite resource, that there's only so much of it in the Coldtowns. And so I think it's interesting that some people, some people are trying to get bit, but then if you get bit, it's sort of this like choice. Is it worth fighting to still be a human, or do you want to join this other part of the world? Because the whole eternal ball thing can, I guess, seem really attractive to some people, even though the idea of like an arm blood spout, while really interesting, was also really gross. I think the thing that I like most so far about this book is how perfectly integrated into our modern world this vampire world is. It's probably the best integration of vampire life into modern life that I've seen. I mean, I watch Being Human, don't get me wrong, and Being Human very much exists in the modern world, but the underground vampire hierarchy is still like a very ancient thing. I love how people move into the Coldtowns and these vampires still have blogs and they still have live streams, and non-vampires have seen videos on YouTube of what it looks like when a vampire bursts into flames. And I just think that it's really interesting to see how people would react to vampires being a common known thing in the world, because most vampire stuff, the humans don't actually really know about the vampires, and the vampires have to stay hidden, and part of their society and life is all these different ways that they hide what they are from the world, because people will like want to operate on them and stuff. That's where I'm at with this book right now. That's where you guys are hopefully at too if you're reading it with me. Let me know in the comments whether or not you think that Tana has become infected and what that will do to the story. I'd also like to know your thoughts on if you lived in this world, whether or not you think that the Coldtowns might be like a sexy, fun place that you might be interested in going to, or if it'd be this terrifying thing that you would want to stay far away from forever. For next week, I would love to have you guys read chapters 10 through 18. Just another 9 chapters. It should be pretty easy. It didn't take us very long. We're already this far into the book, and it seems like it's a pretty quick read because everything's super intense. Hope you guys are liking it. Let me know your comments down below, and I'll see you next time.